Hello, curious minds, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into a really fascinating collection of ancient texts. They offer this profound glimpse into some pivotal moments in early Buddhist history. We're talking direct encounters, cosmic debates, and some pretty powerful lessons straight from the source. So our mission in this deep dive is basically to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, maybe some surprising facts from these rich narratives. We're tailoring it just for you. We'll be looking at excerpts from two main sections of Scripture, the Kokālikavaggo and the Parinibbāṇavaggo.
Right. And what's truly fascinating about these ancient stories, they're called suttas. These are dialogues, narratives from the early Buddhist canon, specifically from the Brahmasaṃyuttaṃ. What gets me is how they don't just, recount historical events. They dynamically reveal fundamental principles. Buddhist philosophy, practice, often through these, dramatic, highly visual encounters. It really draws you right in.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Imagine the Buddha, right after achieving supreme enlightenment. He's at Uruvela, bank of the Nirvana River, under the Ajapala banyan tree. After something so huge, what's his very first thought? It's kind of surprising, actually.
It really is. His initial thoughts were incredibly deep. He saw the Dhamma, the truth he'd found, as deep, difficult to see, difficult to understand, peaceful, refined, beyond reasoning, subtle, and really only comprehensible by the wise. And he was genuinely concerned. He felt beings were too attached to abodes, kind of caught up in worldly things, their concepts, pleasures. So this place, meaning dependent origination and Nibbana, this ultimate reality, he thought it would just be too hard for them to see. He actually thought teaching it might just be wearying for him, maybe even useless.
That initial reluctance is really something, isn't it? You'd sort of expect pure joy, wanting to share immediately. But that's when Brahmasaṃyuttaṃ, a powerful deity, makes this almost instantaneous appearance. The text says it's quick, like a strong man extending or contracting his arm. Wow. So what was Brahma's urgent message?
Well, Brahma Sahampati saw the Buddha hesitating, and he delivered this really impassioned plea. He basically begged him, Desetu bante bhagava dhamma, desetu sugato dhamma, meaning, teach the Dhamma. Please, Lord, teach the Dhamma. He said, Santi sata aparajakatika. There are beings with little dust in their eyes. Asavanta masa parihayanti, bhavisanti tamasa anyataro. They're perishing for not hearing it, but there will be those who understand. He was afraid humanity would miss out.
And he didn't just ask, did he? He used these powerful images, urging the Buddha to open the door to the deathless, the Amitasattva, and to climb the palace of Dhamma and look out on the world like someone on a mountain peak, seeing everything. It's very poetic, very urgent.
Exactly. And moved by this plea and, his own deep compassion, the Buddha then surveyed the world with his Buddha eye. He saw beings with different capacities. He used that amazing simile of lotus flowers. Some are still way down in the mud, some are just at the water level, and others have risen right above water, totally unstained. These represent different levels of readiness, Everyone has potential, but they're at different stages.
Right. And seeing that potential, that's when he made the decision to teach. He proclaimed, Aparutesa amatasadvara yesotavante pomyokantusad. Opened are the doors to the deathless for those with ears to hear. Let them release their faith.
Yeah.
So this brings up a really fundamental point. What did the Buddha himself actually value most? Who or what did he depend on?
That takes us right into the Garva Sutta, a fascinating text. After enlightenment, the Buddha wondered, who should I respect? Who should I live in dependence upon? And he looked everywhere. All the worlds, gods, humans, other ascetics. He found no one superior to himself, not in concentration, wisdom, liberation, or that knowledge and vision of liberation. So he concluded he would respect and live in dependence on the Dhamma itself, the truth he'd found. And interestingly, Brahmasaṃyuttaṃ shows up again to confirm this. He says, all Buddhas, past, present, future, they all respect the Dhamma. And what this really highlights for you, the listener, is that the teachings themselves are supreme. It encourages you to engage with the principles, not just, worship the figure.
That's a huge idea, respect for the truth itself.
Okay.
So the Buddha decided to teach for everyone's liberation. But what happens when even these powerful beings like Brahmas get things wrong, hold on to their own ideas? Let's look at some stories where the Buddha or his disciples had to step in and, correct some divine misconceptions.
Indeed. Even gods can be mistaken. Take the Bhakka Brahma Suttas. This introduces Bhakka Brahma. He had this very specific, deeply held wrong view. He thought this, meaning his realm, is permanent, stable, eternal, absolute, unchanging. He went on, it neither arises, nor decays, nor dies, nor ceases, nor is reborn. There is no further escape beyond this. He really believed his heaven was the ultimate final reality.
Wow. So the Buddha shows up
Yeah.
right there in Baka Brahma's realm.
Exactly. And he doesn't mince words. He confronts him directly, calls him ignorant for mistaking something impermanent for something permanent.
How did Baka take that?
Well, this is where the Buddha's teaching method gets really interesting. It's not just logic. He actually recounts Baka Brahma's past good deeds from ancient times, showing his omniscience. Things like saving thirsty people, freeing captives from a demon, saving a boat from a Naga serpent. The Buddha even reminded Baka that in a past life, he, the Buddha-to-be, had been a wanderer who mistakenly thought Baka was already enlightened back then. So you see, he uses this deep knowledge of past lives to challenge Baka's fixed ideas. It shows that even in these glorious realms, delusion can persist. It's about dismantling fixed views wherever you are.
That's incredible. Using past lives to teach a god humility. Okay, and that wasn't the only time, right? There's the Aparadihu Sutta, another Brahma with a wrong view.
Yes, this one thought his realm was totally inaccessible. His view was, there is no ascetic or Brahmin who can come here. Like, my place is off limits.
So how did the Buddha handle that one?
With a pretty impressive display, actually. The Buddha appeared above this Brahma, sitting cross-legged in midair, radiating light. And then, get this, 4 of his chief disciples, Mahamoggallana, Mahakassapa, Mahakapina, and Anuruddha, they also appeared using psychic power. They sat below the Buddha in the 4 directions, east, south, west, north, also radiating light, a major demonstration of their abilities.
Wow. And Mahamoggallana described these disciples, didn't he? What made them so special?
He did. He highlighted their qualities. He said many disciples possess the 3 knowledges, tevijja, like knowing past lives, the divine eye, destroying defilements. They had attained psychic powers, ihubata, were skilled in discerning minds, chatopaya kovida. Critically, their defilements are destroyed, kansava, meaning they were arhants, fully liberated beings.
So the Brahma just saw all this.
And his wrong view just dissolved. Seeing this incredible display of power and attainment, hearing Moggallana's description, he had to admit he was wrong. He saw the light, literally and figuratively, then saw it recede. Then there's another one, the Pamada Sutta. This involves 2 Pachaka Brahmas. Those are beings enlightened on their own, but who don't typically teach, named Subrahma and Sudavasa. They encounter a different kind of Brahma, one who's become negligent, sort of complacent and proud of his power.
Okay, so what happens there? Another display of power?
Kind of, but with a twist. The complacent Brahma shows off by creating 1,000 replicas of himself. Pretty impressive, right?
Yeah.
But then Subrahma, one of the Pachaka Brahmas, just effortlessly creates 2,000 replicas.
Okay, one-upped him there. But what was the point? The point came next. Subrahma offered a profound insight. He told the complacent Brahma, essentially, yes, your realm is shining, it's glorious, but delight in form, rupiranke, just leads to agitation. The implication is clear. True wisdom, true peace, lies beyond attachment to even these amazing heavenly appearances and powers. It's a subtle but deep teaching. And it worked. This complacent Brahma eventually sought out the Buddha for deeper understanding. So if you connect the dots, these stories aren't just about showing off psychic powers. They consistently show that delusion can hang around even at very high levels of existence. There's always a deeper truth, something beyond even the most glorious states if you're still attached. It's about letting go of attachment, not just accumulating power or status.
That's a really important thread.
Yeah.
Okay, so from these, let's say, more subtle delusions of gods, we need to shift gears quite dramatically now. We're going into a very stark cautionary tale. It's about the immense power and the potential danger of unwholesome speech and thought, even within the Sangha, the monastic community. This is the story of Kokālikavaggo.
Yes, this one is quite jarring. Kokālika was a monk, but he made a terrible accusation against 2 of the Buddha's chief disciples, Sariputta and Moggallana. He called them papicha, meaning they had evil wishes or evil desires, a very serious charge. The Buddha was patient. He warned Kokālika 3 separate times, Maheva Kokālikavaggo, Maheva Kokālikavaggo. Do not say that, Kokālika, do not say that. He urged him, Pasadehi Kokālika Sariputta Moggallana Sucitta, Pisalo Sariputta Moggallanati. Have faith in Sariputta Moggallana. They are amiable, they are pleasant.
3 warnings from the Buddha himself. But Kokālika, he didn't listen.
He didn't. He disregarded the warnings and left. And the consequences described in the text are, well, shocking and immediate. It really drives home the idea of karmic results. As soon as he left, his body broke out in boils.
Boils, just like that.
It's just like that. And the text gives these incredibly vivid, almost gruesome details. They started tiny, the size of mustard seeds. Then they grew bigger and bigger. Mung beans, peas, jujube seeds, jujube fruits, myrobalan fruits, wood apples, until finally they reached the size of a large fruit. Then they burst, oozing pus and blood.
That's intense. And what happened to him?
He died. He died from this illness. And because of his intense ill will and false accusation against these two enlightened disciples, he was immediately reborn in the Paduma hell. This wasn't speculation. Brahmasaṃyuttaṃ himself appeared again to report Kokālika's fate directly to the Buddha.
Okay, you mentioned the Paduma hell. How bad is that? How long are we talking?
The scale is almost impossible to comprehend, designed to show the severity of the offense. The Buddha explained it using this simile. Imagine a huge container, a 20 kari measure, filled with tiny sesame seeds from the Kosala region. Now imagine a man comes along just once every 100 years and takes out one single seed. The Buddha said that entire massive pile of sesame seeds would be completely gone before the lifespan. In just one, a Buddha hell is over.
100 years per seed.
Yeah.
And that's just the first hell in the sequence.
Exactly. And it gets exponentially longer. 20 Buddha hells make one near a Buddha hell. Then it goes through Ababa, Atiya, Aha, Kamura, Sugandika, Upala, Utrika. Each stage is 20 times longer than the last. And the final one in this series is the Paduma hell, where Kokālika was reborn. The timescale is just mind-boggling.
It really hammers home the consequence.
It does. And to make sure the lesson isn't missed, the text repeats these powerful verses several times. Purisasa hiatasa kuhari jayate mukhe, yayachinda tiatana balo duhasi tatavate. Which means, a hatchet is born in the mouth of a person by which the fool cuts himself when speaking ill. Your own words become the weapon against yourself. And another one, Apamato ayakali yo akesu danaparajoyo sabasapi sahapi atana ayame vamataro kali yo sukatesu manapadusaye. Essentially saying, losing your wealth gambling. That's a small misfortune. Polluting your mind with ill will towards the noble ones, the enlightened ones, that is a far, far greater misfortune.
Wow. Okay, so the story really underscores the immense weight given to wholesome speech, pure intention, especially towards those who embody the path. It's a stark reminder that, in this view, our words and thoughts aren't just fleeting air. They have real, tangible, and sometimes severe karmic consequences. All right, so after that intense cautionary tale, let's maybe shift back towards the positive side. Let's look at the goal of the path itself, liberation, enlightenment, and how these texts portray it, culminating, of course, in the Buddha's own final passing.
Definitely. There are beautiful descriptions of the ideal. Take the story of Brahmadeva. He was a Brahmin's son who became an arahant, fully enlightened. Brahma Sahampati actually appeared to Brahmadeva's mother to praise her son, and the list of qualities he uses gives you a really vivid picture of what enlightenment means in practice. He called him nirupadiko, that's without attachments. Atidevapato, attained to the divine, or even beyond. Akinyakano, possessing nothing, materially or mentally. Ananyamaposi, not depending on others for a spiritual sustenance. Also, ahuneo, worthy of offerings. Vedagu, attained wisdom. Bhavitato developed himself, cultivated his mind. Dakinyo, worthy of donations. And crucially, Bahitwapapani anupalito, having expelled evils, unstained. And finally, Sitibhuto, cooled, peaceful, free from the fires of greed, hatred, delusion. It's a powerful image of liberation.
Yeah, that's a beautiful description. A stark contrast, though, is mentioned briefly in the Devadatta Sutta, right? About honor.
Yes, a short but potent verse. Sakaro kapurisa hanti gabo asatari atati, which translates to, honor destroys a wicked person, just as a fetus destroys a mule. It's a harsh simile, but it warns how craving fame and honor can corrupt even someone with potential, diverting them from the real path of inner purification.
So true worth isn't about external recognition.
Exactly, and the Sanokumara Sutta reinforces this. Brahma Sanokumara makes this declaration, Katio se tes janetas mi ye gata paisarino, meaning among people who really care about lineage and birth, gata paisarino, okay, maybe the Katiya, the ruler or warrior class, is considered supreme, Seto, but he continues, Vijakara and Sampano, so Sita dava manuseti, the one accomplished in knowledge, Vija, and conduct, Katara, that person is supreme among both gods and humans. It completely flips the script. True supremacy isn't birth or status, it's inner development, wisdom, and ethical conduct.
That's clear. And then there's a really impressive story showing that inner development in action, the Arukavati Sutta, involving a previous Buddha.
Yes. This is the current Buddha, Gautama, recounting a story about a past Buddha named Sikhi and his chief disciple, Abhiphu. Abhiphu demonstrated absolutely incredible psychic power. He could teach the Dhamma while being visible, then invisible, then maybe only half visible, astounding even the Brahmas in their own realm.
Wow. And he made some kind of declaration from the Brahma world.
He did. His power was such that his voice could reach a 1,000-fold world system. Imagine that reach. And his message, echoing across the cosmos, was a timeless call to action. Arabhatha nikamata yunjata buddhasasani. Start. Go forth. Engage yourselves in the Buddha's teaching. Dunatha makuno sen nakarava kunjararo. Shake off Mara's army, the forces of delusion and death, like a powerful elephant demolishing a flimsy reed hut. Yo imasmi damavinai apamato vyasati pahaya jati sasara dukasanta karisatiti. Whoever lives diligently, heedfully, apamato, in this Dhamma and discipline will abandon the cycle of birth and death and make an end of suffering. It really emphasizes that this isn't a passive path, it's active, diligent effort that's the core of liberation, consistent across different Buddha eras.
Strive, go forth, engage, a powerful message. And that brings us finally to the most significant event in these texts, the Buddha's own Parinibbāṇa, his final passing away. This happened at Kusinara, in the solid grove of the Malas between twin sala trees. His very last words, what were they?
His final words were incredibly profound in their simplicity, aimed directly at his monks, but really for everyone. Handa danibika ve amantayami vuvayad hama sakhara apamadana sampadetati. Which means, now monks, I exhort you, all conditioned phenomena, sahara, are subject to decay, vayadhama. Strive on with diligence, apamadana sampadata. That's it. Impermanence is universal. Effort is crucial. Then the texts describe how he entered into deep meditative states, the jhanas, and the formless attainments, moving up through them, then back down, before finally passing away while established in the fourth jhana, a completely mindful and controlled transition.
And the reactions at that moment,
Yeah.
they came from all sorts of beings, right? Gods, humans.
Yes, it was a cosmos-shaking event. Brahma Sahampati spoke a verse acknowledging the passing of this unique, unsurpassed teacher. Saka, the king of the Devas, recited a verse emphasizing impermanence. Conditioned things are truly transient. Their nature is to arise and cease. Having arisen, they are destroyed. Their cessation is bliss. Ananda, his loyal attendant for so many years, was naturally overcome with grief and terror. But Anuddha, who was an enlightened arahant, remained composed. He spoke verses focusing on the Buddha's unshaken mind, his peaceful release, comparing the final liberation of mind to the extinction of a lamp.
Pajatasevanbana.
Different reactions reflecting different levels of understanding, perhaps.
Exactly. And if you look at the bigger picture, the Parinibbāṇa isn't portrayed as just a sad ending. It's the ultimate demonstration of liberation. It profoundly impacted all realms, showing the culmination of the path and leaving behind that timeless message about impermanence and the necessity of diligent effort for anyone seeking freedom. What an incredible journey through these texts. Seriously. We've gone from the Buddha's initial, almost hesitant thoughts about teaching, all the way through these cosmic encounters, correcting gods, the stark warning about speech, and finally, the descriptions of enlightenment and the Buddha's own ultimate liberation.
And these ancient narratives, they really serve as powerful reminders for you listening now. Knowledge isn't just for collecting, it's most valuable when you understand it, when you apply it. They really push you towards critical thinking, you know, questioning assumptions, even divine ones, and recognizing the sheer power of your own intentions, your own diligence in navigating this complex existence.
Absolutely. So as you reflect on these stories, Baka Brahma's pride, Kokālika's harsh words, Abhiphu's cosmic call to strive, the Buddha's final breath, maybe consider. How might your own words, your own thoughts, seemingly small perhaps, ripple outwards, affecting your present, your future? And maybe ask yourself, what insight can you take right now from the Buddha's very last instruction? Strive on with diligence. What does that mean for you today?